What's up? This is Marcus, and I want to take some time to talk about my book. So before we get started, this is my first time doing a live off of TikTok. So before we get started, this is my first time doing a live off of TikTok. So hopefully you guys will be able to reach this. But if not, then welcome. So anyway, I want to talk to you about my. You guys will be able to reach this. But if not, then welcome. So anyway, I want to talk to you about my book. So I have a series called Fireline, and it is about a black man who was raised by a white family who finds out that he is descended from a group of warriors called Dragon Wars. And so I kind of wanted to just briefly talk about how I got the inspiration for the book. So I work in the oil and gas industry, and one day I was bored at the rig, and I said I want to do a comic book. So I figured I'd go ahead and make a script about it. And I said, this be a nice little book. And then I didn't touch it again. Now, this was around 2017-ish, so I didn't touch the thing for learn writing, or, writing sucks, or all sorts of excuses. So learn writing, or, writing sucks, or all sorts of excuses. So finally, I had enough, and I told my 8th graders, because I taught 6th graders first semester, second semester. I had enough, and I told my 8th graders, because I taught 6th graders first semester, second semester I taught 8th graders. So I told my 8th graders, I was like, you know what, I'm not trying to hear this again. So I said, I'll tell you what, if you guys actually do my work and do the things that I rig. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to continue writing this story. So, long story short, that's how Fireline, the revival of the Draco Sinnincha, came about. I actually published a book in March of 2020, right before the pandemic happened. So, there was a bittersweet moment there where, I was able to get this book published, and nay, because like most of us, we were laid off and forced to have to stay at home. So, I also want to talk about the name, Draco Sinnincha. It is 2 compound words of Latin. Draco is Latin for dragon, and Sinnincha is Latin for sight or eyesight. So the inspiration from that came from my favorite anime character, which is Itachi Uchiha. Because for those of you who are fans of Naruto, you know that they had the ability to be able to see chakra and see and anticipate moves and things of that nature. So I made my own version of it, but instead of the Sharingan, I called it the Draco Sinnincha. So then, once again, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and call it the Draco Sinnincha. So then, once again, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and implement that. And in this universe, the Draco Sinnincha, go ahead and implement that. And in this universe, the Draco Sinnincha has the ability to see receptors, or they're basically electrical impulses that you could see within a human's body. So they're able to not only upset or something. Yellow means scared, green means envious, or some admiration, color codes of that nature. So because of that, the main character is able to because of that, the main character is able to, he's able to see within people. He's able to breathe fire, and heat and fire actually revigorates this guy's body. So that's how he gets his powers. So one of the things that he learns to do is he learns to meditate, and he learns to meditate by tapping into the ancestral memories of his genes. So basically, he can actually go back in time through his genetics and actually learn his powers and learn his lineage. And so through his genetics and actually learn his powers and learn his lineage. And so that is the premise of the first book. So I see that a couple of you guys are joining. So, I want to wish you guys, hey, and thanks for joining, and thanks for checking the live out. So I'm gonna keep on going. So the first book is more so about learning his powers and also finding his long estranged sister. He found his parents were killed while he was an infant, And I'm not going to say too much about who raised them, but what I will say is that everything is interconnected and everything is woven. So please, if you guys got the chance, check out my book, Draco Sinensha. I did a couple of TikTok videos on it. It's off of Amazon. It's off of Barnes & Noble. It's even off of Walmart, of all places. And so it's been out for a while, so you might be able to get some pretty good, cheap deals. It's even off of eBay if you want it. So please get that book. That's the first book of the series. The second book of the series is called Generational Bursts. So if you've heard of the words generational curse, there's always a negative connotation towards it. With generational bursts, it's more of an explosion. So just like in everybody else's family tree, you have a lot of branches, you have a lot of twists and turns, and you have a lot of grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents and great-great-great-great-grandparents and aunts and all that. It's the same thing with this book. So with this book, he is coerced by a young lady to go look for a legendary sword made by one of his ancestors. And so with the help of his maternal grandmother, they see guidance from a phoenix that tells him where to go. So he travels to England, and then he travels to Africa, then he travels to Spain. And I'm not going to say too much about the book, but what I will say is that he finds out that not only is he not the only person that has these powers, he also finds out that that there were a lot more of him and his people. So in the first book, there's one villain. I'm not going to reveal who the villain is, but once again, everything is interconnected. I will say that the villain had a hand in his upbringing in more ways than one. And so with this book, the villain is a younger version of somebody who's trying to take control of these group of evil men called the Elite Eight. They're basically your typical white supremacist group that wants to take over the world, and they want to create mass genocide, especially for black people. So that's what that book is about. And it introduces new characters. I will say this. I also included a autistic character who also has the power of the Draco Sinensha in this book. So in that way, I wanted to be able to showcase what it means to actually have general heroes, because unfortunately, as a black man, and I'm just going to be blunt and just say it the way that it needs to be said, we have our superheroes, but they're always either watered down, or they're sidekicks, or they are caricatures to other heroes. Like, for example, Miles Morales is basically a carbon copy of Peter Parker. He's not his real own superhero. I mean, I hate to say that for my Spider-Man fans, because I'm not his real own superhero. I mean, I hate to say that for my Spider-Man fans, because I'm a fan of Spider-Man as well too, but I wanted to make a hero that was authentically black, that had authentic problems, and who shared the same experiences as like the typical black person in America. So there's that. Now getting to the nitty-gritty of it. So the main reason why I wanted to do this TikTok is because of some personal issues. I took a sabbatical from finishing out my third book. Yes, I did finish writing the whole manuscript. I'm still kind of in the editing process of it right now. But the last book is called Fire Lion Al-Qaeda of the Golden Dragon. Now, Al-Qaeda is a Arabic word for creed. Like the freedom of thought, religion, whatever. So I'm not trying to make it into a religion, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to pay homage to not only the Moors, because they spoke Arabic back in the day. They spoke many languages, but Arabic was the main one. But I also wanted to do an homage to my ancestors, because from my dad's side, my grandmother's father was actually a second or third generation immigrant from Portugal. And for people who may or may not know, Portugal and Spain was occupied by the Moors, which is the reason why they were darker. And, there's a deep-rooted history when it comes to that. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know that the Spanish and Portuguese language are a mixture of Arabic and Latin. That's something that a lot of people may or may not know. But I want to go ahead and just kind of throw that out there. But the main reason why I wanted to do this live, and I'm thinking about maybe doing a couple of lives. I don't know if I should do it every Thursday, every Friday, make it kind of my weekly thing, but I plan on doing more reels promoting the book. So the main reason why I wanted to do this book is because I wanted to make a trilogy, and I wanted to have kind of like a climatic verse, and also Alakita the Golden Dragon, the bad guys actually create a virus that is used to not only wipe out black people, but it turns out that it mutates and it makes people even more racist or amplifies whatever feelings that they have inside of them. Excuse me. So I think that it's going to be an intriguing read, and I'm also tapping into making it into a graphic novel after I finish this novel. And I'm going to do kind of a hybrid where I am planning on posting certain paintings that I've done so far that represent certain pivotal moments of the book. I'm also going to talk more about some of the characters. I also did some videos on YouTube. Please check those out, called the Character Corner, where I talk about some of the main characters that are going to be prevalent in all three of these books, if not the last two books. And also too, I want to write this book because it's also about closure, because I went through a lot of things. Unfortunately, I went through my second divorce last year, and because of that I was so unfortunately I went through my second divorce last year, and because of that I was so devastated by what was going on that I just didn't have the emotional capacity or the fortitude to be able to see the book through. And so when I took it took me, some soul searching, some healing, some praying, things of that nature, for me to be able to say, you know what, just because one person, was harshly critical of your work doesn't give you the excuse to just give up, because you've already written 2 books, and regardless if it was amateurish or not, you took the courage to put your work out there. So I don't like leaving things undone and unfinished, so here I am. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of close it out, but I'm finished, so here I am. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of close it out by saying, I'd say 2 or 3 more things, and that's that. So once again, Generational Births can also be found in the same places. So 2 more things that I want to do is, 1, next week, I think I am going to start doing weekly lives. It may be every Friday, maybe every Thursday, who knows. I haven't decided how I'm going to do this, but I am going to set aside time each week to kind of just promote certain parts of the book, to where you'll gain some intrigue and talk about some of the paintings that I'm doing. And then I think I'm also going to go back and start talking about certain characters in the previous books. So those are the things I want to do. And the last thing that I want to say is this, is that now I am in a relationship. So for, ladies, be mindful that if you do come in contact with me or want to say things or want to, chop it up with me, just understand that within boundaries, I will respond to almost anything. So you can respond back to me on TikTok. You can respond back to me on, I have a Facebook page. It's just simply Marcus Bowden. I also have an Instagram, same thing. It's just Marcus Bowden. And I'm willing to, chop it up about my books if you have any questions or comments, concerns. And once again, please, if you get my books, leave a comment on Amazon. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel. Let me know whatever. And I also encourage you guys to go ahead and just do some sort of, book clubs, discuss the book, because I think that it's not often that people like to read books anymore, because everything is fast paced. Everything is kind of a microwave effect. We want an instant gratification, and this isn't something that it's going to be instant gratification. I will warn you ahead of time that, especially my first book, since it's my first time writing it, it's going to take a little bit for you because I'm, creating a world, I'm creating characters, and I'm world building. So by the time you get to like generational bursts, then it's going to expound on the world building a little bit, but it's going to be a more established piece of writing. And then by the time you get to this final product, I promise you, there's going to be some epic moments, and it's going to be some, some things that I think that you'll really enjoy. So please give a like, please give a share. Thanks again for taking the time to do this live, and I'll talk to you next time. Have a good one.